I you know what? The universe is a funny place. Without sounding too woo-woo and too The Secret, etc., etc., you do get back what you give out to some degree, right? And I try and be as positive as possible. Now, obviously, occasionally I have to get the yoga fire out in the motherfucker. But most of the time, I try and be a positive guy, right? It's amazing how far you can get if you're likable and you're positive and you spread positive energy, and it usually comes back to you twofold. So, yeah, you reached out to me. I remember you reaching out to me. You said the things you want to talk about. You said, look, you're an inspiration. You do X, Y, Z. And I said, yeah, let's talk. Why not? Eggs aren't real. That's a long story. I was in Spain driving through the mountains in a McLaren, running from the police, and I discovered that this whole time, eggs are not real. And I know you're looking at me like, what are you talking about? But I'm telling you, it's a myth. It's a conspiracy. It's explained on Take Home Adventure. You know, every time I'm asked to do this, I have so many paths to choose because I've lived such an eclectic life, right? I can talk in 10 different directions to describe myself. So it's kind of difficult. I'm the thing I'm most proud of. My largest accolade is that I am a 4-time kickboxing world champion. I fought for Infusion. I fought for Glory. Fought for K1. 87 fights, 79 wins. And most of those fuckers who beat me, I beat. One of them escaped. And if I ever see him on the streets, on sight. But everyone else got a whooping. And that was a long, hard career. And it's kind of amazing where a lot of people ask me how I know the things I know. And fighting taught me a lot of it. Fighting taught me a lot about girls, a lot about business, a lot about the world. Taking fighting seriously. Because I was never really a school guy. I never really went to school, never took school seriously. So I was always just trying to get some money and beat people up. And here we are. I got a bunch of money and I beat a bunch of people up. So life's going well. Son world champion, multi-millionaire, nice guy. Nice guy, don't forget that. Wudan master. That's how I introduced myself. I don't know what else to say. You know, maybe a little bit. I watched the last Bond movie, spoiler alert. I watched the last Bond movie and I saw them kill him off. And they had to kill him off, right? Because what Bond was a pimp. And pimping is frowned upon in the modern society. And when I say he's a pimp, Bond spoke to my soul. Because James Bond's probably the only other person I saw out here in the world who was fucking for everything other than sex, right? Most dudes get a chick and they want to get sex to get sex. Bond gets a chick and he wants to get sex. So she tells him where the safe of the bad guy is. So she tells him about the bad guy because she's fucking the bad guy too. He's fucking her purely to get shit. He doesn't want to have sex. He's giving her sex to get something back. And when I watched that, I was like, man, that's me. That's my whole life.
The finesse.
The finesse, bro. I look at a girl and be like, look, whether I was running my cam business at the time and I wanted her to work for me, or even today, females make fantastic spies. I'll say it right here, out here in the open. I have female spies who work for me to this day. I have girls I can send to the right boat, the right party, at the right time. They come back with field reports. Because most dudes won't shut up around a chick. They just can't be quiet about all the amazing things they've done, right? Females make fantastic spies. But if I want a female to spy for me and to work for me and to stay loyal to me, money won't do it. I can't pay her to be a spy because if she's banging some other dude, that's who she's loyal to. Right. So if I want her to be loyal to me and to report to me, the only way that's going to happen is if she gets, am I allowed to say dick?
Say it.
The dick.
Facts.
So that's the game. So Bond was a pimp. So when I watched them kill him off, it was kind of emotional for me. You know, like imagine I'm driving in my Rolls Royce Wraith black badge, going to the cinema, trying to have a nice night, couple bitches. I watched the Bond movie, and it's like I watched myself die. I'm driving home in my Rolls with my hose, and they're like, what's the matter? I'm like, bitch, you know, you don't know what's the matter. The world's changing. Men like me are no longer liked. We can't even be in fiction anymore, men like me. So if they're going to kill men like me from fiction, they're certainly going to try and kill men like me from reality, right? I have to be exceptionally careful. And when I say kill, I don't necessarily mean broad daylight assassination. What I mean is character assassination. What I mean is warping the minds of the public to the point where I'm a bad guy for being a heterosexual male who likes to fuck. Oh, no, he's a misogynist. Listen, if I was gay and I was out here saying, listen, there's no, I want any man I want, blah, blah, I'd be celebrated. Yeah. But because I'm heterosexual and I say, look, I like to fuck. Now I'm a bad guy, right? It's crazy. So they're just going to character assassinate. They're going to try and convince the world that anyone who is true to their masculine entity and the masculine imperative is a bad person instinctually. And they're going to, the people who exist like me, the very few that are left, we're not going to exist in a few more generations. Yeah. That James Bond thing hurt me. It upset me. I had to park the rolls. I mean, I fucked the hose. You know, I'm okay again.
You made a video about it.
But it was a sad day for me. It was a very, very sad day. Yeah, it was a sad day.
Can you tell us a little bit about your father and your upbringing? Because a lot of people always ask, well, Andrew, how'd you get these world views? Why do you view the world the way that you do? And I'm a firm believer that obviously, your parents have a huge impact on you as far as how you view the world. And your dad had a very interesting background.
My dad was the OG. And I actually put something on Twitter the other day that went viral and pissed everyone off. Why is it everything I say annoys everybody? I'm just trying to live my life.
No followers.
And I just try and say something and everyone's like, what? Nah. So I said the other day that any child who's obsessed with superheroes, that's a warning sign to the father. And the warning sign is that when I was a child, the only superhero I was interested in talking to or being around was my dad. Like if I watched Batman and I go to my dad and say, hey, did you see what Batman did? My dad would sit me down and go, fuck that, listen to what I've done. My dad was my hero in every way. I had no interest in fiction because I had a real life superhero. Until the day he died, I viewed him as a superhero. So my dad was an exceptional character and he raised me in an exceptional manner. And although there's too many stories to tell, the one thing my father was fantastic at was prioritizing the mindset of my brother and I above even his relationship with my mother. So, because there's so many dudes who end up being cucked out in their own household because they don't want to argue with the wife, and the sons see that shit. I was never raised around that. My dad would disappear to chess tournaments for 2 months. He'd go off, and my father was one of the best chess players in the world.
Right.
This is before like cell phones and stuff, right? So he'd call home twice a week, whatever. He's gone for 2 months. He walks in the door, my mom's like, Emery, where you been? It's been 2 months. I don't know where you've been. What is this? I've gone through your clothes. There's a picture of some bitch in your... And my dad had been home for 42 minutes, and he'd just go, sorry, son, she won't shut up. Walked out again. See you in 2 months.
Whoa.
That's just who he was. He's like, I ain't sitting there taking shit off a bitch. That's it. I'm not going to take it. Doesn't matter if she's your mother. I love your mother. I love you. I'm not sitting here taking shit. And it's kind of like you grow up around that. And now when I come home after 2 months and she's trying to say, where you been? You've been in Fresh and Fit podcast. I watched the podcast. You with all them girls. I'm like, bitch, I'm going to go back to Miami, man. Shut up. So yeah, I was raised around. I had a fantastic upbringing. I can't say anything bad about either of my parents. My mother as well. I was raised with no money and good parents, and that's the best way you can possibly be raised.
Same here, man.
Best way you can be raised.
Your father was African-American and your mother was Caucasian?
Yeah, my mother is white Irish. So my dad was in the Air Force. He was based in Chicksands Air Force Base, which is in the UK. He was pimping all these British chicks, caught himself a cutie.
Hey.
And that was the beginning of the legendary Tate brothers. So it was me, my brother. I've got a sister as well. So there's us three. And we moved back to England. We lived in America for a while till I was around 10, and then we moved back to the UK, and I was pretty much raised in England. They're good for different things, man. But they both have the same basic worldviews, the same basic what's the word I'm looking for? Propaganda. The same. They're trying to hypnotize you in the same way, right? And it's all done on purpose. I think we've discussed this before, and we'll discuss it certainly a bit later. But they're trying to destroy the masculine imperative to prevent revolution. So it's all kind of the same. There's certain things I respect about each country. But it was good to certainly at a young age move around a bit as well. It allowed me to never, ever really settle in a school and make a bunch of good friends or anything like that. So I always understood, even from a young age, how to make people like me quickly, and also how unimportant the relationships with those people were, right? I wasn't a kid who's like, oh, I'm going to miss my best friend. I was like, okay, you were my best friend for 2 years. Peace. I'm out. I was like that. So that's probably another reason why me and my brother are so close. So yeah, it was a good upbringing. I can't have nothing bad to say about it. I was just raised by the OG. My dad was a G. Big, black, chess master, huge, drinking, gambling, pimping. Like, he's just out here. He was just that guy, right? So he was like that to the end. So he was a hero. Yeah. So chess, I mean, obviously my father was a chess master, right? So I had to learn the game. He sat me down. I spent a lot of time learning it. And to this day, I have massive respect for chess. So much respect for the game. It's so much harder at that world level than people can even fathom. Unless you even play the game, you can't even anticipate how good these people are at the game. They're effectively computers. I don't think you can even be good at chess at that level without having something a little bit wrong with you. You got to be on the spectrum somewhere. Do you know what I mean? Because it's crazy how good these guys are. But yeah, chess is an amazing thing. I still play chess every day. I'm not world level or anything. I'm around 1750, 1800 elo. If anyone knows chess, that's what I am. But yeah,
would that be considered better than average?
Certainly better than average. Yeah. You know, the average player, let's say, is around 1,000 or something.
Okay.
But my dad was 2,400.
Okay.
Or 2,500.
Damn.
So yeah. So I'll give you an example. My dad could beat me without looking at the board. So my dad would be in the kitchen, fucking around the kitchen, cooking dinner. I'd be in front of a chessboard in the living room, and I'd say E4. He'd say C6. Knight F3, Knight C3. And he'd smoke me without looking at the board. That's how good the best. It's insanity.
Yeah.
But I do think it's a good basis for life. There's certainly a lot of lessons in chess. There's certainly a lot you can attribute to chess from everyday life to the chessboard. And I think it's a good grounding mechanism. I enjoy to sit down for a good couple hours, win some games, lose some games. Yeah, absolutely. So I'll give you my favorite one first.
Yeah. Please do.
My favorite one is the difference between the king and the queen. Right? Because the king moves one square at a time. And the queen can just zip across the board. Right? So you're here in Miami. You're partying in Miami. They got all these parties right now. It's Art Basel, blah, blah, blah. You see all these chicks on a boat. For the man to get on that boat, it's one square at a time, right? He has to get a good job. He has to get his taxes right. He has to find a way to leverage credit. He has to meet the guy who sells the boats. He has to go through all this shit stage by stage by stage to finally pull off being on that yacht and having that yacht at the age of 56. A chick, what does she need? Lip fillers? Boom. Zip. On. She gets straight on. That's the difference between the king and the queen. But although the king is slower than the queen, he's the most important piece, right? The king can't die. The queen can die. The queen, sometimes you can be looking at a position and go, this is fucked up. The only way out of this is to sacrifice that bitch. Sometimes you can do it. I'll tell you a very quick story. This is a story I've never told before. When I was, how old was I? 23? When I was 23, I was dating a ballerina. She was the prima ballerina of the Cambridge Ballet School in England. And I had no money. I was a fighter, but I was coming up. I didn't really have any money. And she lived far away, like an hour and a half away, but she used to come see me, and we were good for like a year and a half. I loved this girl. Yeah. And she finished ballet school. She started dancing in clubs in London. She couldn't get any ballet work. Surprise, surprise. Who fucking wants ballet work, right? So she ends up doing like dancing and not stripping, but like dancing in the club, you know. So now she's around all the London money every day. She's out dancing all the time. She's up late every night. She doesn't want to drive an hour and a half to come see me. None of this shit. So we're kind of falling apart a little bit. And she ended up talking to someone famous, David Hay. I don't know who he is, he's a boxer. So David Hay starts texting this bitch, right? Back and forth to the... So anyway, when I finally saw her again, she was like, we had an argument. She's like, well, you know what? You think you're a fighter? This guy, that guy, this guy, that guy. I'm like, look, if you're going to go fuck idiots, at least do it for money. And she's like, what do you mean? I was like, well, if you're going to go fuck idiots, at least get paid because they don't give a fuck about you. Like, if you're going to play this game, at least do it for money.
Right.
So I had this argument with her back and forth, and I explained to her that these men are just going to use you. If you're going to do it, at least get paid. And when she left the house, Tristan said, why are you telling her to fuck other dudes? I'm like, no, I'm just understanding that in my chess position, I've lost this game.
Right.
The game is done now. Just sooner or later, she's out. All we do is argue. She's in the club every night. I'm just trying to say, before she leaves, maybe I can get a little bit of money.
Yeah.
That's the queen sacrifice, right?
Right.
We broke up 3 months later. I don't know if she fucked him or not, or who she fucked. I don't know. I never spoke to her since. But that's kind of the analogy you have to be able to apply to life. Sometimes chicks got to go.
Yeah.
Sometimes they have to go to save the king. And too many dudes, most of the time, men truly lose at life. It's because they've attached themselves to a queen and they won't let her up. They won't sacrifice her. No matter what. I promised I'm going to stick by you. This, our marriage vows, no matter what. And they just stay on that sinking ship till she eventually leaves his ass. Even worse, what most queens do, I don't want to use queens, what most women do nowadays, especially in the West, I see women getting their men in trouble all the time. You know how many times I've seen chicks starting fights for their dude to have to mop up? My man's gonna and the man's like, oh, fucking shut up, man. There's 4 of them.
Yep.
Do you know what I mean? Like, even if he's a big dude, he's like, I don't really need this now today. You know what I'm saying? Man, another story. I have so many stories in my life. My life's been cool. Back around the same time, I'm 22, 23 years old, kickboxer. I was British champion. I wasn't world champion at the time. It was 4 a.m. The club just ended. I was in a chicken and chip shop. It's an English thing. They sell like fries and fried chicken and they're open 24 hours. Like, yeah, something like that. And there's a long line. An Audi with tinted windows pulls up. These 3 big black guys get out, push it straight in front of the whole line, go straight up to the front, cut in front of 5 people and start ordering. My girl goes to me, we've been waiting here ages. I said, shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. She goes, you're just going to let them push in? I said, shut the fuck up. So I made her be quiet, right? Anyway, the man two in front of me, not this guy, the guy here, he couldn't tell this bitch to shut up. She's like, excuse me, there's a line. And the guy turns around and goes, you think I don't see the fucking line? I don't care about a fucking line. So she starts running her mouth. Bro, this dude knocked her the fuck out.
Oh, man.
Whack, clean, out cold. By the time her man looked at her and looked back up, boom, sparked, done.
Whoa.
Both of them. And I stood there and watched both of them just laid out clean. Yeah, fatalities, bro. It was. I wouldn't be surprised if they both have permanent damage. It was bad. The three dudes who ordered the chicken and chips didn't even take their food. They started laughing, walked back out, got in the car. And I turned around and said to my girl, you see, some people are just ready to fucking go to jail. Some people are ready to kill people over fucking nothing. You want me to fight? Oh yeah, I can fight. But what am I fighting these three dudes for? What, fries?
Yeah.
What, fries and a 10-minute delay?
Damn.
Man, and this is what bitches will get you into this shit.
Yeah.
Bitches will get you into this shit fast. And that's why when I see dudes saying, oh yeah, she's just my friend, you're hanging around with girls and they're not even giving you pussy and they might get your ass killed. What the fuck is wrong with you, man? Girls are a liability. They're a liability to have around you because you have a duty to protect them in some regard. I curate my experience very, very carefully. Any woman I'm around, I understand I have to protect. So she better suck something. Because I ain't fucking sitting around being friends with no bitch. Because I've seen it. I've seen it. I've seen so many men have their ass kicked over chicks. It's incredible. 100%, man. They're a liability. And it's not necessarily just completely their fault.
Yeah.
But if you're rolling with a chick who won't shut up when you tell her to shut up, you need to be careful, man. And Myron nailed it. There's a big difference between fighting and violence.
Yeah.
Like, I'm a professional fighter, right? I know how to fight. But fighting and violence are different things.
Yep.
If I wanted to get violent on somebody, I just run them the fuck over. Like, forget fighting, right? If somebody who hurt my family was on the sidewalk, I'm not gonna get out and fight the guy. I'm just gonna just run him over my fucking truck. We'll talk about violence.
As professionals, we discussed the infidelity of females. And I said that female infidelity is more disgusting than male infidelity. And I think that the world agrees with me. History agrees with me. The Bible agrees with me. The Quran agrees with me. Every single book you can read from history says that females who are promiscuous should either be stoned to death or at least cast out from society. Female promiscuity is a brand new concept. This is brand new amongst society. The idea that women can sleep with a bunch of dudes and it doesn't matter is a brand new idea. 30, 40 years old, maybe. Even today, nobody respects it, deep down. When a girl shoots a girl she doesn't like, you know the first thing she does? She says she's a... You know why? Because they know deep down that female promiscuity is disgusting, it's revolting. So the whole idea of a female wanting to sleep with more than one man at a time is haram. And they know it inside of their souls, inside of their hearts.
I don't think so.
Yes, they do, as does a man. No. Whereas a man, if he sleeps with a bunch of chicks, doesn't matter, who cares?
So would you be with me if I'd slept with over 50 men? I'm a high value woman, right? You said it yourself.
How can you be high value? 50 men of something.
What if I've just been single for a long time?
No, unacceptable.
Why is it unacceptable?
A body count is probably the #1 most easiest way to judge the value of a female. I actually think that no, I'm gonna say this. I think 99% of the world's problems, and no one's gonna understand this, but if you can extrapolate, if you can listen to this statement and extrapolate it out towards society at large, I think 99% of the world's problems would be solved if females walked through life with their body count on their forehead. Because it would prevent all of the disintegration of morals. It would prevent so many things about the world.
But you know what, there's like a lot.
And women would be like, to be with me as a man, I don't want to put another number on my forehead, you have to be a good man. They wouldn't stop fucking these idiots and stop being idiots, and all the idiocy would disappear, all the degeneracy would disappear, families would return, virgins meeting their first man, staying with him her whole life and being proud of it. Couldn't we go back to such a beautiful age? All we have to do is start putting numbers on girls' foreheads. We could fix everything.
That attitude is disgusting. It's not about women's body count. That would not like minimize any problems. Men like you are the problem, Andrew. Women, I myself am one of them, I'm sick of men that have this really disgusting outlook on women, policing women's bodies. Listen, if I want to sleep with this many people, I can and I will. Yeah, but what you're not getting is there's this whole hyper toxic independent movement of women, right? We are doing things because it's kind of, now it's our choice, but it's kind of like by force in the sense of it's like we're so liberated because we're literally exhausted with men on their power trip, on their this. So it's like, oh, if you can do it, we can do it. But this is what I said, but you men that think the way you think have created that.
I understand your point. However, you're wrong. She thinks I'm arrogant. I'm being arrogant on purpose. I must admit, annoying her is kind of fun. I think that, you know what, I'm being so nice. I'm being so nice to you. I say I think instead of I know.
This is him being nice.
The answer is I know. I know. Females who sleep with lots of men, first things first, I don't think that women naturally, intrinsically want to do that. I think that's societal programming. Yeah. I think that women...
No, but I agree. This is what I'm saying to you. Like, there's things that you're saying, like, I don't disagree with certain things you're saying, but going back to my point, it's like by force. Like it's to prove a point. It's like this power struggle. Like I personally don't want to sit and sleep with loads of men. I don't care. Like
Good.
I don't.
We're getting somewhere. You see, God, Jesus, I'm getting her. Please, little by little. Got 2 hours left. Give me some time. I'll fix it.
No, but if I want to, then I'm going to.
Sorry,
but that's where you need to
little by
understand.
little, little by little.
No, but genuinely, but that's what you need to
No,
understand.
you will not.
Listen,
God will frown upon you. You can't do that.
And you.
What do you mean, and me? It doesn't say in the Bible I can't do that. Read the book. I can do whatever I want. I'm a man. Women can't do those things. It's disgusting. I can't believe you're poisoning the youth on YouTube.
Why is he shouting?
The idea that a woman can sleep with as many people as she wants just because she wants to is wrong. It's absolutely wrong. Every man knows it and every woman knows it. Women should not do that. And the whole idea and the whole concept that females can adopt the promiscuity of males, because males have always been promiscuous.
But there's actually a lot of men that are like good, loyal men, just so you know.
Do you think so?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I know very good men.
Would you deem them high value men?
Oh, absolutely. Successful, everything that I listed earlier, 100%.
And they don't cheat, right?
Yeah. It's possible. Why is it funny?
I think that if a man has options over a long enough time frame, he's going to eventually probably explore one of them options. Now, I'm not saying he's going to love another woman. I'm saying that when a man's in love, he only loves one girl. I agree with that. I believe in love. I believe a man cares about a chick. I believe a man should take care of a woman. I believe he should come home to the same place every day. I believe all those things. However, I think if a man truly has options, truly, that both the man and the woman understand that at some point he's going to explore those options.
No, listen, if I'm with you, do you think I'm going to allow you to explore other options? It's either you're with me or you're not. Go be single then.
Cool.
Like what, but realistically, what self-respecting woman is going to sit there and tolerate you?
I don't cheat. I don't cheat.
Okay,
I'm a
but
good
you're
man.
saying,
I don't
but
cheat.
What woman is going to if you have all these other options?
No.
Because I tell you what's more powerful, what's more alpha, and what's more attractive, and what's more high value is a man that can respect his woman, love her, not cheat on her, not disregard her, not see himself above her, not see him as, she's his slave or anything like that. See her as an equal, treat her with respect, and put on that. That's more powerful. A partnership, two people. Not I'm a man, I have options, I'm going to explore them. Listen, if you're a cheater, you're a cheater. If you're a loyal person, you're a loyal person. That's it.
First things first, men and women are not equal. We'll talk about that in a second. Secondly, is that if a woman sees Chris Brown in the club, do you think she's like, wow, he'll be loyal? Fuck no, she doesn't care. Like, at high enough status as a man, women don't even care about loyalty. Women don't even care about loyalty at high enough status. And I don't cheat. Listen, I'm a man of God. I go to church. I don't cheat. I'm talking about in general.
Okay, but what I'm trying to explain to you though, because maybe your perception of what a high value woman is warped. Because I'm a high value woman, I make my own money, I possess all the qualities that I listed earlier. Right, I believe I'm not going to be with a man that's going to cheat. I'm not going to look at a man like Chris Brown and be like, oh my God, like he's loyal. You see it as face value. You know he's a cheat, and maybe he'd just be a one-night guy. Cool. Just like you men do it to
women. Would you
women,
sleep with him for one night?
I don't think I would.
I hope not, because that would not make you a high value woman.
No, this is what I'm saying, because it's like, when you hold yourself in high regard, you don't need to do those things. So the kind of caliber of women that go for men like that and these opportunities don't have that much self-worth, because it's what you're going to go with a man that's only values you for one night. So it says a lot about the quality of a woman.
All right, so we agree on something.
But I'm saying, so when you generalize about women, don't do that, because there are many high-value women
who would refuse him,
that will not tolerate that.
Completely. I'm not saying that. My point is, you completely misunderstand me. I'm saying at a certain point, females aren't even interested in loyalty. Do you think all the girls with Dan Bilzerian think he's loyal? I'm not saying every girl will go with him. And also that paradigm, the whole idea that if you find a man who's good with his mom, then he's good with girls, that's bullshit.
No, it was just more because I find that your thoughts towards women are quite disrespectful.
You think so? Why?
This arrogance that you've got.
Don't tell me what, I'd actually like to know what I've said that's so far.
No, I'm just saying it's not, you don't have to say anything. It's like energy speaks volumes, because you're not actually listening to what I'm saying.
I'm listening to everything you're saying. I don't think you're listening to what I'm saying. I'm saying women shouldn't sleep with lots of men, and they should fall in love with one man and stay with that man. And if that man takes care of them and ends up across 20 years sleeping with one chick once, you shouldn't leave him. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. And the point I'm making is completely valid. And if a woman sleeps with one man once, that's unacceptable. If a man does it, it's acceptable.